I think
Today or
last time. I think I learned last time that you go this direction.
Apparently not.
From here, up like this, I think. See?
And he's
That's
done
easy
it.
to remember. So
You have to spin it in a full 360 while lifting.
Future Brandon, remember this.
Hello. I'll try to get to it really quickly here because everyone likes to see the answers when they look at the video on YouTube. This is going to show just a couple of techniques I figured out along the way as I replaced the turbo in my daughter's car. She bought this XC90 over the summer, and then shortly after we heard problems with the turbo. For anyone who doesn't know, the turbo is at the back of the engine there, and Volvo says you have to take it out through the bottom, but you can pull it out the top. You have to remove these bolts on the side of the stabilization bar. You have to remove the engine mount here in the middle. Then you have to remove the intake tube going down the middle. There's a heat shield as well that I'll show here in a little bit that you can't completely remove, but you can move it down to the side. None of this is easy, but it is definitely doable. I found most of the steps to do this from watching videos by Robert DIY, a guy named The Last Corvette, and then another one that was 5280 driven. They've all done the hard work of putting together videos, so I recommend you watch their videos first. Mine will gloss over a lot of the things that they spend a while on, but then I do focus on how to actually lift the turbo out and navigate that, and then how to properly lift the engine up and brace it while you have to remove the pan underneath. Here's me after I first got it out. I was super excited, and thankfully New Mexico Turbo here was willing to send me a whole replacement because he had a spare body, but normally you have to send it in and wait for it to be returned. So I sent it to him, got back the replacement, put it in, and thought I was good. This being my first rodeo, I didn't realize that I had other issues in the system, like the PCV system was totally plugged and there was tons of sludge down in the bottom of the engine. Just a few months later, I noticed that the engine kind of sounded like a diesel engine when it was idling. And then shortly after I took this video, the turbo started whistling again, and I knew something's wrong again. As I started to take the system apart, I found oil all throughout these pipes, and I knew there shouldn't be oil in these pipes. They're all air pipes. And I had just cleaned them when I did the turbo the first time. Here's where I marked off the hoses. I recommend you do this because there's like 5 hoses right there. You can see them in the schematic, number 6 there, and you got to keep track of where those all go. You can see down inside the pipe there, and it shouldn't be like that. I'm sure some grease gets by, but there shouldn't be much. And there's even oil inside the plug here. So I cleaned all these things out, contacted New Mexico Turbo again and said, hey, what do I do? This part failed on me. Nick was gracious there to take it back under warranty, even though he hadn't done anything wrong. It was just I had some other problems that caused it to fail again. And if I had dealt with those lubrication issues the first time, it wouldn't have been an issue where it came back. This is what I'm calling the insert of the turbo. It's not the whole unit, it's just the part that gets stuffed inside. In order to get to the turbo, you have to move this heat shield out of the way, and there's like 3 bolts that you can get to from underneath and some from on top, and I loosened it and pushed it down out of the way just by fiddling around, so you can get it down there. It won't come all the way out unless you remove the angle gear and things that Volvo would suggest, but I was good with just moving it this far to get it out of the way. Just to the right there, you see that rusted looking part. That's the exhaust manifold that butts up against the turbo body, and you can leave the manifold in place and separate the turbo on these P2 chassis. This is what the whole turbo looks like if you're to buy a brand new one and get the whole unit with the exhaust manifold piece on the left there. I chose to just rebuild or get the middle part rebuilt, and that spot with the red cap is the oil return line. I'll show that in the next photo here. It's where you can see the little oil line going into the middle of the turbo in this Volvo diagram. That is right here with that green Torx head. There's two of them, and on the right there you can see where one of the water lines for coolant goes. So you have to remove all these things. It's not easy to get at, but it is doable without taking out the suspension. You can see that coolant line there on the right side, and that has a special banjo bolt that goes in there, and you just got to make sure those are clean and replace it with new crush washers. I got mine from FCP Euro. Here's one of those hoses that I mentioned earlier. You have to make sure you get back if they're vacuum hoses, and some of them go into those smog components. This actually is, I think, the wastegate actuator that's there. It's hard to see it. There's also on the far right of the picture a little tube.
So there was one more.
This is me realizing I hadn't removed the last little hose there on that wastegate, and go back and remove it before I can finally get the turbo out. Here's where I figured out the right sequence to pull this out. Of course, this is my second time after I've replaced the turbo.
Apparently not.
From here, up like this, I think. Yeah, just keep recording until I get it, because I want to know.
Okay.
See?
And he's
That's
done
easy
it.
to remember. So,
You have to spin it in a full 360 while
Brandon,
lifting.
future Brandon, remember this. Go down, rotate around,
Turn sideways.
like that.
No, no. Yeah, no, it doesn't like that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, stop.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm stopping. And then my son's being a knucklehead.
Okay, stop it. So can you see down in here? No, here, sorry. So it looks like some oil on the wall there. And this does have play. Don't know if that's okay or not.
What I didn't say earlier is how you separate the two pieces if you're going to leave the manifold in the car or attached. Is right there where my finger is kind of pointing, is there's a ring that has a clamp that holds the two pieces together. It doesn't seem like it would be strong enough, but it's ridiculously strong. Once you try to pull the turbo out without loosening that enough, you realize it's not going anywhere. You can see in this picture probably better the clamp with two nuts and bolts right next to the red stopper there. Once I had it out, I started dismantling and wanted to remove those wastegates and other, I think, smog accessories. I could be wrong. So I put little pen marks there so I'd make sure I had the orientation right when I received the turbo back and had to put it back in the car. While I waited to ship out the turbo to be repaired and sent back to me, I worked on now replacing the PCV box and all those components. I used the guide by FCP Euro. It's a great video, and followed their instructions very closely. You can see I had tons of gunk built up inside of my PCV box, and the tubes were very plugged. One of them was even broken, and pretty clear that it wasn't working properly, and that is most likely what led to my turbo burning up twice. So after the PCV, I moved on to dropping the oil pan, but unfortunately I couldn't find a lot of good information about how to do that, because some were for older model Volvos and some of them were slightly different chassis, so I wasn't sure. Robert DIY jacked up his engine using a block of wood and a jack, and then he stuffed a block of wood underneath this pulley right here, and I just wasn't quite sure about that. He seems to know what he's doing, but I just wasn't comfortable with stuffing a block of wood in there. I found this other method which I think worked great, and it was pulling out the two bolts going into this engine mount on the passenger side wheel well, jacking the car up just enough so that you can put one bolt into the top there, and that holds the engine up just about an inch higher than it was, and that seems to be enough to get all the bolts off around the oil pan. Next, you have to remove this intercooler. You don't have to take the whole thing off, just remove the 4 bolts that hold it to the oil pan, and be ready for oil to come rolling down your arm. This is the O-rings that where the oil cooler is attached. Those will need to be replaced with new ones, and you can get a kit from FCP Euro. When you remove the 20 or so bolts that go all the way around this, just keep track of where they all are positioned. Lay them out on a piece of cardboard or something, and don't lose track of that if you can. It helps a lot when you're putting back in, because some of them are longer than others. As you'll see in the next few pictures, my oil pan was pretty filthy, full of sludge, and I had to take it to a shop around town here to put it through their hot bath. The biggest problem is that the oil pickup tube gets clogged with sludge. So oil in the bottom of the pan is not necessarily the issue, it's more the pickup tube. But if you leave all this sludge around, it'll get in the screen. And it's important that right near where I'm pointing, there's a little valve. It's a relief valve that I'll put a link in the description, that you replace that as well, because that could lead to problems later on. You can see it's at near the tip of my index finger there. There's a little relief valve that should be replaced while you've got all this stuff out anyway. I wish I had taken more pictures of how it looked when it was clean. It wasn't flawless, but it got all the sludge and dregs out of the pan. I scrubbed it a little more with a wire brush, and then I cleaned the underside of the engine here, where you can see sludge build up on those passageways. Mainly I just wanted the PCV system and oil passages to flow well, and got it all pretty clean. Just didn't think to take pictures after I was done. There are lots of people out there who have a better technique than I did for applying the anaerobic seal on the oil pan, so I'll just let you look at their videos. But I applied a bead, attached all the bolts, let it sit for a day to dry. You can see some of the red there behind the engine mount. Lowered it back down to where the 2 holes lined up, and put my 2 bolts back in. And it was done at that point. After some more cleaning, the engine's running really good, nice and quiet with the normal sounds I'd expect. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll try to watch the comments and answer anything you might post. Thank you. Bye.